Okay, the registration has started. So welcome to everybody. My name is Giovanni Capelli. I am the actual director of the National Center for Disease Prevention and Health Promotion in the National Institute of Health of Italy. CNaPPS is our short name, and very happy about this. And first of all, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart Serena Awad because she has accepted to spend her time to let us have the opportunity to hear her voice and get a real life perspective on the enormous tragedy which is still sadly going on in Gaza. There are things that all we living in our golden cages here in Western Europe in my opinion, can't really understand about the deepness of the pain of what is going on there just now. And I leave to our Serena Donati to tell something more about Serena. But thank you again a lot for being here today and spend some hours with us. And moreover, I would like to thank also Pirous Fateh-Moghadam. I suppose that many of you know very well him. He's a medical doctor specialized in hygiene and preventive medicine. He works in Trento, in northern Italy, and is known for us. He's really a friend because he works with us in many activities, especially in the PASSI and PASSI d'Argento surveillances, in our joint actions, and so on. And he has been coordinating the health plan in Italy 2015-2025, as for now, he is the coordinator of the the work group on peace of the Italian Association of Epidemiology. He published several contributions on the Lancet and a book in Italian about the issues of the health disease issues in war theaters. And so thank you also to him who accepted with his usual friendliness to us to take part in our webinar today. And finally, I want to give many thanks to all the brave people attending this webinar today, because I'm sure that all of us will be different in our thoughts and our feelings at the end of the following 2 hours. So thank you very much. And this is a very important moment for us working in the field of public health to have a real view of what happens when all the world goes crazy and gives origin to things like the ones that are happening in Gaza. So Serena, please tell us something more about Serena Awad.
Good morning to everyone. I also thank Giovanni for organizing this meeting in the National Health Institute, and I would also like to thank especially Serena and Pirous for sharing their experience today with us, and thank you obviously to all of you who are participating in the webinar. Before giving the floor to Serena, I would like to briefly share how our life paths crossed, because actually we never actually met in person. So there is a story behind this opportunity we got today, and I would like to share some photos of a project which dates back to 1996. I try now to share the photos. They have been taken in 1996, so obviously they're not perfect, but it's important to know where this opportunity comes from. This is a picture of the inauguration ceremony of the Women's Health Center, which was a center inaugurated in Gaza Strip in 1996. And I spent there 8 months and the center was opened in Brež refugee camp. And the project was funded by the United Nations and was coordinated by two NGOs, one Italian, the ISS, which maybe many of you know, and one was a Palestinian NGO named CFTA. The staffer of the center was all Palestinian and female. And here you can see on the right, starting from the right, Lama Hourani, who was the director of the center, the gynecologist, the social worker, a lawyer, a secretary, a staff of the CFTA NGO, that's me. This is Nafisa Dik, the special advisor to the UN Secretary General who came the day of the inauguration of the center. And here you see a special person for me. This is Serena Awad, is the mother of Serena, and she was the nurse of the center. This is another lawyer, and this is the psychologist of the center. So this was the project, and Raya was definitely a special person inside the center. In this image, I think her expression says a lot of herself, her warmth, her empathy, her ability to get in relation with all the women in the camp. And these were the qualities that made Raya such a, I would say, a vital and trusted presence for the women of the camp. Her commitment can be described in terms of responsibility, love, determination, and she easily became an irreplaceable asset to the center. Obviously, I don't have time to tell you everything we achieved during these 8 months and later on, because the center went on and another center was opened on this model. The model was the model of the consultori italiani. But we offered antenatal care, family planning. Rabia was responsible for the family planning center, prenatal classes, which was something new in the Gaza Strip, postnatal home visits. Each woman who delivered in the camp had a postnatal visit, seminars that were held at the center and the women's homes, public outreach events. We built a playground for the children. We opened a small library inside the center, and this was an idea of Rabia, who brought from her own home the first books for the library. I think she really made possible what often seemed impossible, because she was always present and always willing. So, as you properly already guessed, Serena was named after me, and this is for me a great honor and a sign of the deep affection that marked my friendship with her mother. Here you see her in the room with the gynecologist, and in the next picture you see a group of nurses of the nursing school in Gaza City. We made a collaboration with the nursing school, and we proposed to the director, he was a very smart man, he studied in the United Kingdom, to have the students coming to the center instead of going only to the hospital, in order to make their internship. So we got 20 students who participated in our activities. They learned how to implement a sampling survey on the field, how to administer a questionnaire, how to perform a home visit. And together with them, coordinated by Rabia and by the psychologist, we had the opportunity to carry out a family planning survey, interviewing more than over 800 women resident in the camp. It was a huge task. And the results of this gave us the opportunity to understand the needs of the community, but the results were also published on Social Science and Medicine, which, as you know, is a very interesting journal in this area. I will close with this picture, because is one of which I love more. It was taken during the home visits in the camp. And this baby, as you see, embraced by his mother and protected by his grandmother's hand, represents what every child deserves: love, care, and safety. Today, we know that the children in Gaza lack even the food they need to survive. And I don't think this has to do only with humanitarian crisis, but I think it is a violation of human rights. So today we are here to give voice to Serena, who is the daughter of Raya. She is only 26. She's doing a great work in the strip, and she will speak to us about her life and her commitment to the Palestinian people, something that she has been doing before and after this devastating conflict. So thank you so much. Before giving the floor to Raya, I would say everyone can later on ask questions, and I think the best thing is to write them. Sorry, I would like to interrupt this. I can't find it. Here it is. I would say the best thing is to write them in the chat so that after her speech, we can look into the questions and have a discussion. Raya, the floor, not Raya, sorry, Serena, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Serena, for everything, and thanks for everyone for organizing this event. I just want to make sure that my voice is clear because the internet is not stable. Okay, great.
Perfect.
I want to say, okay, great. Thanks for everyone who's here. It means so much to me. So I'm Serena Awad, speaking to you from Gaza. As Serena said, I'm going to be talking about myself, my work, and how life has been for me for the past almost 20 months. So as a Palestinian and a Gazan girl and a humanitarian worker living this genocide, I have witnessed unimaginable and profound suffering of my people. As of today, Israel has killed more than 54,000 Palestinians and wounded over 100,000 since October. But the numbers are so much higher than this. The numbers are likely to be 100,000 Gazans have been killed since October 2023. This is a Holocaust. There is never a pause. There was no day without horror, no day without pain, no day without loss. First, we saw a young man burn alive in a hospital, in a bed in a hospital while he was connected to an IV. Then we saw a journalist burn alive in his chair in a tent. And now, just 2 days ago, a young girl was escaping a bombed school where she was sheltering with her family while her family were burning alive in front of her. While all of this is happening, all hospitals in the north are out of service completely. More than 90% of hospitals in the Gaza Strip have stopped. Gaza's only one cancer hospital is out of service. Hundreds of medical workers were killed, were taken hostages. And the last devastating story, I'm not sure if you heard of it, Dr. Ala El-Najjar, she's a woman working as a doctor in Nasser Hospital. She received her 9 children killed in one bomb, while her 10th child was burned. I'm not sure if he made it or not, but she received 9 of her children killed in one bomb. This is happening while the bombs have been dropped in a small strip, non-stop, and those bombs have surpassed the combined size all nuclear bombs dropped in last century. And the worst part of all of that are the evacuation orders. Since October 2023, there have been more than 80 evacuation orders where you have to leave your house, your shelter, or where you are staying. It is non-stop. For me, I have actually evacuated 9 times, running from one place to another with my only backpack. Having no idea where to go. And the one who refuses to leave end up either being killed or taken as a hostages. And the worst part for me was saying goodbye to my house. In just a few minutes, I needed to say goodbye and take nothing with me because they're gonna bomb my neighborhood. All I've done is just look one last, look at my house, saying goodbye, and just run for my life. So this has broken me for the past, I don't know, almost 2 years. And if I'm going to say every devastating story I got to see and to hear throughout the past 600 days, 30 minutes will never be enough, or a lifetime. And also, I hate to identify myself as this, but I am now speaking to you while Israel is starving me, as they haven't allowed food, medicine, or other life-saving supplies to Gaza since March the 2nd. And I also hadn't had a good meal in nearly 2 years, and this is the longest deliberate starvation campaign in modern history. And as a clear evidence of that, I have lost 50 kilograms since October 2023. I was almost 64 and now I'm like 49. So I have lost a lot of weight for not eating for the past 2 years. Also, it's not only me, there are thousands of children are on the brink of death in Gaza due to the starvation. At least 57 people in Gaza, including 50 children, have died because of hunger and malnutrition since Israeli blockade on Gaza. And to be honest, I recently started avoid leaving my house, not because of the bombs and not because I'm afraid. It's because that I have no energy left to walk. I walk short distances and then I'm out of breath. I need to rest. I can't walk. And because I live on the 6th floor, I don't go out unless it's really important, because I can't go up 6 floors with no energy left and no food in my body. And it kills me because Gaza used to have the most delicious food in the world, and now 2 million people are starving, not finding any food to eat. It's crazy and it's unbelievable. So this is like a sum up of what's happening. But as of my work, as I work for the American Friends Service Committee as a program officer, but since the beginning of the genocide, we have shifted our work. We used to work in the humanitarian field, but now it's completely emergency. So at the beginning, I thought it's going to be easy to be in the field, actually, but so I can't even describe it in words because the needs are huge, and whatever we do is a drop in the ocean, but we cannot stop. It's not only about the need, but it's only about risking my life. At least 400 aid workers have been reported killed by Israel. So it's devastating for me as a humanitarian worker that I'm not only dealing with my survival story, but also seeing and listening other survival stories from people we get to help on the ground, which are far much worse stories. And actually, it's not only me, also internationals who came to Gaza to help, they couldn't bear it to stay in Gaza for more than 1 week. I remember there were 3 psychologists from the World Health Organization. They are psychologists who have been to even worse places, but when they came to Gaza, they left. They couldn't handle what's happening. And they said, we have never seen something like that. So even international trained expert psychologists who came to Gaza, they couldn't bear to stay. And through my work, there are so many traumatic stories I've been exposed to, and there were days I couldn't wake up to go to work because I have had enough and I couldn't see or hear more stories because I'm like, I don't have anything to help. All our aid has been stopped, nothing has been entered. And the worst thing was, I remember we went to UNRWA UN school. It wasn't as a shelter. We delivered hot meals. And the next day they bombed the school. And all I was thinking, if the children I saw made it or not. So it's happening all the time. Every place we go, they bomb it, every camp, every tent. And I have never been to a camp. There are thousands of camps. I never been to a camp where I haven't at least meet 4 to 5 children who lost their both parents, and they live with a grandmother or their uncles or their friends. And I think until now, there are 19,000 children who lost at least one parent until now. So this is a disaster, what's happening. And to be honest, there is no such thing as a safe zone. What you hear on the news of a so-called safe zone or a humanitarian area, it's a huge lie, because all the strip is under attack and every inch is not safe. And you wouldn't find 1 centimeter in Gaza that is safe. And the funny thing is, I feel mostly unsafe when I am in any UN building or any UN car, because Israel has bombed all UN cars, all UN buildings. They bombed, I think 3 months ago, a UN headquarters in central Gaza. At least 1 foreigner UN staff member was killed. They bombed the staff for Central Kitchen. 5 foreigner staff were killed. They bombed the Red Cross headquarters office in Rafah. So it's it's everywhere. They bomb all the places everywhere, so it's never safe. But as a humanitarian worker, we cannot stop. 2 million people are relying on us and relying on aid that is not coming. So this is like 1 minute of the life of a humanitarian worker in Gaza. And finally, 2 million Gazans have at least lost one thing. As for me, considered the luckiest until now, I have lost 19 family members, including my cousin Muhammad, my other cousin's wife Bisan with her baby boy Basil. I have lost my childhood friend Tamer, who were shot in front of his mother's eyes. And 3 of my friends are hostages, and I have no idea if they're still alive. They work as a press, they're journalists. Adel, Haytham, and Nidal, I have no idea if they're still alive. And also we lost our house. We have our house in the north. It's barely standing and barely livable. And during the ceasefire, when we went to the north and we celebrated that our house is still standing, not level to the ground. Now my house again is in the humanitarian no-go or not safe zone, is in the evacuation zone. So I can't reach my house in the north now. And I'm just praying that my house will, hold up again, stand still one more time. And also my sister, who was supposed to get married in November 2023, she actually evacuated to Egypt after she lost her house and leaving all her wedding plans and her wedding dress in Gaza. I have one brother who's supposed to get to finish his high school studies. He's now at the second year, waiting for the high school exams to be done, and nothing has been happening. As you know, all the schools have been destroyed. The education system is leveled to the ground, and no children are learning or going to school nowadays. And you might think that our story, our rights, or our existence and our resistance are complicated, but it's not. I think we are the least complicated conflict, even though I don't like to use the word conflict. It's more of a brutal military occupation, settler colonialism, blockade, and apartheid regime imposed by Israel and Palestine. And to end with, there's no safe place left in Gaza. I'm speaking to you not knowing if I'm going to be their next target, because why not? Everything has been a target. They burn tents with people inside, bombed houses, hospitals, ambulances, press offices, mosques, churches, schools, bakeries, and it never ends. The list never ends. But this is just like how the situation is happening now. I don't want to make it long, but my message to you, for everyone who's here, like, always speak the truth and stand for what's right. Educate, divest, boycott, contact organization, reach out to organizations that are in Gaza, try to speak, try to connect, because what's happening is beyond imagination. And I think I would spend a lifetime to describe just 1 minute of what's going on. And as someone said, Palestine is the moral compass for humanity, so don't lose your direction. Every word and action saves lives here. This is what I always say and what I always repeat. Please never underestimate what you do for justice, because it always starts with small steps. And Gazans, Palestinians, they need you. They need your voice, your power. They need everything. Just don't let the rest of the Gazans who left here down. And this is all. I don't want to take so much time with this, but thank you for giving me such space, and I'm here for any question, anything you want to ask. I just wanted to give, a sum up of what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serena. Your words, I think, touched everyone. It's unbelievable what is going on, and we really feel guilty as international community for what is happening in Gaza. I'd like to ask everyone, if anyone has a question for Serena, this is the moment. Or if anyone wants to say something, to comment something regarding what she told us. It's very difficult also for us, even though it makes no sense, because we are safely in our houses without problems. I check if there is, Ursula Hauser, you can speak, Ursula.
Yes, but I almost can't speak. I just want to say, Serena, I love you so much. And I love Rauja. I know Rauja is there also. Well, I want to say I know you all in Gaza since many, many years. We have been working with psychodrama in the mental health field, and I just sometimes I have no words, but of course we do. I live in Central America, in Costa Rica, Guatemala, Cuba, and all these countries. There's a lot of solidarity. I just want to say you, beside that I love you, we never leave you alone. We are with you. I would love to come again there. I'm old, but I'm waiting to see you again. And of course, very proud of you. And please, go on with this wonderful voice you have and this wonderful being you are. And to Rauja, just also to say, well, we go on with our chats, and all over where I can, I am with you. Thank you, shukran, and I love you.
Thank you so much, Ursula, for your words. Anyone else wants to say something?
Volevo dire, se qualcuno vuole fare la domanda in italiano, noi possiamo tradurre anche. We can translate if somebody wants to speak in Italian or to ask something in Italian, and we will translate the question.
Yeah, thank you, Pirous. Sabrina.
Yeah. Hi, Serena. I actually don't want to say anything else that thank you, shukran. I got goosebumps. I feel really privileged to attending this webinar and to live in Eastern country, even though, I mean, I think we are not doing enough. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. I think there is a message in the chat. Thanks, Serena, for being so brave and for your wonderful smile. Claudia Robbiati. Anyone else wants to say something? I think, Serena, you have to understand it's very difficult for us to speak after what we heard. We all feel very guilty because of this situation. And I know it's impossible to understand what is going on there. I remember in 1996 was a happy moment for Palestine. The Oslo Accords were giving hope to the opportunity to have finally Palestine free, and people was very active. But still at that time, I remember that whenever we had some troubles in the strip, my friends, my relatives living in Italy had news which were different from what was really happening. So I can't imagine the gap between what is happening now and what we are receiving in terms of information from the media. So that's why it was really so important for us to have your testimony today, because this gives us really the magnitude of the disaster you're living. I see another message from Lorenza Misticò, which is a colleague from the National Health Institute. I stand with you, Serena, and I endless ask for ceasing bombing and starving your people. So we are 148 people connected to this meeting, and I think it's really an honor to have the opportunity to listen to your words today.
Thank you. I just want to comment on something. I appreciate everything you're doing. I don't want you to feel guilty, because I know if you had the power to stop the genocide, to enter food to Gaza, you will do. The fact that you're here, the fact you're listening, the fact that you want to know more, and I'm sure that after this you will go and talk and spread the truth, because as you said, Serena, the news is never the same as what's happening in Gaza. More than 300 journalists in Gaza have been killed, so Israel is trying to shut the truth, to close the eyes of, so no one would know what's happening in Gaza. They have never allowed any international journalist inside, so no one could transfer the real image. And I'm here, I don't want you to feel guilty again. I really want you to do whatever you can, and I know you're doing it. The fact that you're here again, it means so much.
Thank you again, Serena. Another colleague wrote, thank you, Serena, for your testimony. We will raise strongly our voice to stop the silence we feel here in Europe. We do feel it. And this is also a problem in our country as well, not only in Europe. Anyone else want to add something? Okay. Serena, do you want to add something else? You have the opportunity to speak a bit more if you like.
I mean, I know every time I make my speak a little short because of the amount of information and what's going on. It's too much, it's a lot. And sometimes I can't believe myself, saying this, the fact that I'm saying I'm starving, I'm homeless, I lost my house, my siblings are shattered around the world. It's really hard for me to say this, but that's why I always keep it short so everyone would understand and get an idea of what's going on. But as my last word, as I ended my speech, that I really want you to do the bare minimum to stop this. I don't want you to come fight and, you know, to stop living your life. No, I just want you to think of us while enjoying or living your life. And the most important thing is boycotting, to divest, to never deal with any organization or company that fund the genocide. So you wouldn't be funding a genocide without you knowing. So the most important thing, you need to know to whom I'm sending my money, to whom I'm working, to whom I'm supporting. So because some people, they work for organizations, they don't know that their money funds a genocide, and they end up having blood on their hand. And I don't want you to be in that position. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. There are two more messages, 3 at the moment. It is so difficult to speak. I just want to send you my greatest sympathy. We love you. Europe does not represent us, and I am ashamed of the nothing that the West is doing, but know that so many of us stand with you. This was a message of Michele Marra. Antonio Addis writes, thanks, Serena, for your bravery. Can you give us some information about the distribution of the food and medicines? We know that there are problems with this. And Livio Provenzi, he is, by the way, a psychologist. It is easy to misunderstand responsibility with guilty. We are responsible as we teach and grow a new generation of clinicians, researchers, citizens, to help them believe, trust, and engage in the value of togetherness, collaboration, respect. Thank you, Serena, Donati and Awad for this event. And then we have Alessandro Rosa. Thank you, Serena, for your smile and your humanity. How do you think we can help as European citizens from a practical point of view? And Nicola Caranci writes, hearing Serena's words strikes the heart. To see her, the dignity, the look, and the lucidity despite the dramatic situation is a sign of the most beautiful humanity. We are close to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your messages. It warms the heart. I think there were 2 questions for how can we help. So I think the easiest way for someone who wants to help, besides, you know, spreading the truth and talking about what's going on, is reaching out to all organizations who work in Gaza, especially UNRWA, World Health Organization, World Food Program, and MSF, MDM, MSF France, Switzerland, Canada, and also MSF Spain, France, all those, you know, organizations who are working here on the ground. Also, try to reach out. I think the most important thing is to reach out to medical organizations, because we have no hospitals. So many children who lost 1 limb, who needs to be medically evacuated for treatment. So try to connect to all those organizations who are working, try to support, to fund, to try to help in any way. This is number 1. Number 2 comes when you want to help UNRWA and UNICEF for children, to focus on education and children health. And lastly is to pressure your decision makers around you, the politicians, you know, to all the time try to pressure them to try to do something, so they would divest, they would sign a letter to do something in your country or in your city, this is really important. But first thing is to try to contact all the organization, mostly UN organization who work here, because the second question is how we distribute aid. When we used to have aid, when we used to have medicine coming in, all those organizations, especially the UN, were coming and getting those aids from the borders or the checkpoints, and then giving them to international organization or local organization to deliver those aids. But now we have nothing entered, and just a week ago, Israel bombed the last store of where medication were stored. So now zero medication in Gaza, zero painkillers, zero everything. So they bombed the last storage where hospitals keep the medicine, and all hospitals were bombed, all hospitals were burned, so no hospitals working. So anything you support the medical field is really important, because 100,000 people are wounded, are losing their life daily because no doctors, no medicine in Gaza. And for my organization, what we used to do is when we receive our trucks from the checkpoints, my organization in the US, also in Jordan, they used to send us trucks with blanket sheets, with the tents, with the mattresses, with food sometimes. What we do is we take them to our, storages, and then we distribute them to the camp. Every camp, we know there is a need, all camps, there are huge needs. So there is no single person that doesn't need an aid in Gaza. So this is how we deliver aid. Each organization has its own policy, its own mechanism. But now all organizations have stopped working because nothing has entered Gaza since March the 2nd. So everything is empty. No organization is working, including my organization. The only thing we do now is we distribute drinking water, because we have signed a contract with a local desalination plant that make the water is drinkable. So what we do is we have our own trucks, and we send those trucks to multiple camps. That's the only thing we are working on now, because we have nothing to distribute. I hope I answered your questions.
You did very well, Serena, and a few people ask if you can write a list of organizations we can support. Maybe you can send it to me by WhatsApp and I will share it with the others. And yes, I'm really delighted that Raya wrote a message for all of us. Raya is Serena's mother, as I told you, is the nurse you saw in the first picture, is my helpful friend, and she writes, I hesitated to speak today, fearing I might not hold back my emotions. Thank you so much, dearest friend Serena. Proud of my daughter Serena. Thanks, Ursula. Deeply appreciated for all of you. Please keep speaking out. Your voices matter. With love and unwavering hope. Thank you so much, Raya. So, I really don't have words to thank all of you participating, but mostly of you, Serena and Raya, and we are all next to you. We will try to do our best, and we will keep speaking out loudly. So now it's difficult to go on. If you can stay and you are interested, Pirous will give a speech. He wrote a book, as Giovanni said, and I think it might be interesting also for you, Serena. And we keep in touch, okay? Take care. Pirous.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you, Serena, for your impressive talk. It's really very inspiring, and it's something bizarre in it, that it is you that gives us hope, and it should be the other way around. And I don't know, I just want to that you know that here in Italy, many people are thinking of Gaza and of you. And there was in the first after the first weeks of the war, there was an article by Valeria Parella, an Italian writer I keep on thinking about, and she wrote that, like, she wakes up, she thinks about Gaza. She goes shopping. She thinks about Gaza. She goes to the cafe and chatting with friends. She thinks about, and this is something that happens to many of us. And we have now, for example, there's a huge sports event in Italy. It's the Giro d'Italia bicycle race, and along every place and towns where the bicycles, and it's highly there are many, the TV and everything is covering it very much, and along the roads there are so many people with Palestinian flags to highlight and to break the silence about what is going on. So this is the only thing we can transfer to you. That don't think that there aren't many people that are thinking about this horrible situation. So well, I prepared a presentation. I thought I should talk in Italian, so I prepared it in Italian. So I just will improvise now to transfer it into English. Please forgive me for the bad English I will use, and I just share my slides. I hope. It will work.
There are a few other messages for you, Serena, on the chat. You can read them.
Yeah, if you want, you can just read it and answer it right now. It's while I'm looking here for my.
Okay. Alessandra Pratesi writes, I have already signed a letter from the health orders for Gaza, of which I can provide the text, which I do not know what result it has had at the moment. I do not understand health administration, nor do I deal with politics. I ask you experts what we can do to help those people. Perhaps a working table to coordinate in a network of solidarity, all individual initiatives so that they are more effective. Perhaps take a clear and strong position as health workers, perhaps together with the health workers of the other great free nations of the world, to ask to those who govern us to do everything possible to obtain the truth. I defer to you, dear colleagues. And Michele Mara asked everyone to turn off their cameras on. And then Erika De Vita writes, my heartfelt thanks, Serena, for finding the strength to talk to us about the unacceptable situation in Gaza. You are so brave. It is difficult to speak. Please accept my message. Take care, Serena and Raya. Resist. Love and hope from Ursula. And Sheila Fox, with you every moment, Serena and Raya, my heart is always connected.
Okay, can you see my first slide?
Not yet, Pirous.
Oh, that's strange. Because I thought it would.
Fai condividi, poi devi fare schermo e poi scegliere la presentazione. Devi passare attraverso quello
schermo intero.
schermo, sì. Eccola, mi sembra che stia arrivando. No, adesso vediamo, non ancora. Eccola, è arrivata, perfetto, grazie.
Adesso è tutto schermo?
No, non ancora. Sì, adesso sì, grazie Pirous.
Okay. E dimmi anche se non dovesse scorrere, questa è la prima.
Vediamo la prima.
Ok, Carta di Ottawa.
No, sì, perfetto.
Okay. Now I wanted to start this presentation about to put the Gaza conflict into a broader point of view, and the title is to keep and to put the health and human rights at the center of our reasoning, always and everywhere. And we as health professionals have a professional obligation to promote peace, just as the Ottawa Charter established in 1986. It mentions peace as the first of the fundamental resources for health, and all the other resources or health determinants from housing, education, food, income, a stable ecosystem, and so on, are, as we know, also damaged by war. So if you are here now talking about the peace promotion and prevention of war, it's our professional obligation that is behind it all. Also, of course, our human essence is there important, but it's a professional obligation as well. But I think it's important to consider this quote by Walter Benjamin that reads, to highlight one's love for peace is typical of the warmongers. Who wants peace should talk about war. And this is very uncomfortable and depressing, but I think that's there's truth inside this quote. So this is what I wanted to do. There are, at a global level, these are the latest data from the Peace Research Institute, the Oslo. It refers to 2023. Next week there will be the update, and it's they counted 59 conflicts all over the world, and it's the highest number since 1946. And for the direct effects of those conflicts at a global level, hundreds of thousands of people losing their lives, and many more are mutilated and hurt. So, but it's important to consider not only the direct effects when we are talking about the impact on health of war and conflicts, but we have to consider also the indirect mechanisms, and the fatalities for the indirect mechanisms usually are much higher than those provoked by the direct effects. And this is because nowadays in modern conflicts waged by states, everything is considered a target. Everything is considered a target, and this is so highlighted in an incredible way in the situation in Gaza. It's the military, but the civilians as well, and the civilians are usually much more interested and die much more than the militaries. Maybe the war between Russia and Ukraine is an exception on this particular issue, but all the infrastructure of civil life are targeted. The drinking water and all the wastewater management infrastructures, the schools, the hospitals, all the universities, the industries, the agriculture, streets, bridges, everything becomes a target. And so what results is what Mark Zaytoun, which we had the honor to have 2 years ago at the annual meeting of the Italian Association of Epidemiology, in his book calls the biosphere of war. And it's inside this biosphere that the health is so compromised with effects that are ongoing even much longer than the actual conflict lasts. And what are the mechanisms of this biosphere of war? And here's just some example. And it's, for example, you have no electricity, no fuel, or no pieces of to repair stuff. So there will be damages at the like water or waste management infrastructure, even if they are not directly hit, which they are also. So the water will be contaminated by fecal material, and this heightens the risk of diseases of oral fecal transmission, and the food shortage and will cause more susceptibility to infectious diseases, because your immune system is compromised. And then the conditions of the life in the refugee camps is connected to a higher risk of transmission of those diseases because of the overcrowding in these situations. And on top of all this, the destruction of the hospitals and of the healthcare infrastructure, the lack of medicines is connected to the impossibility to give the proper assistance to to people. And and then in the case like Gaza, you have the blockage of all humanitarian international assistance by Israel. So these are aspects that are common of many conflicts, but the situation in Gaza is really has all of them, and we will see afterwards with what effect on health. These are the numbers you, Serena, also already highlighted. The casualties, and this is from the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. The update is from 21st of May. 53,000 fatalities and 121 reported injuries on the Palestinian side. They give also the Israeli casualties, 1,200 at these include the fatalities on 7 October and the immediate aftermath. And these includes also 33 children and 5,000 injuries. And then the fatalities in Gaza of the soldiers. So these numbers and the numbers on the Palestinian side has been criticized because of the attendability of those numbers given by the health ministry of Gaza. And there were some studies that have been conducted to evaluate the accuracy of the data given by the Ministry of Health of Gaza, and none of those studies found data fabrication. And one of the most recent studies, an analysis of capture recapture that utilized different data sources, resulted in mortality much higher than those given by the Gaza ministry, as you also highlighted in your talk, Serena. But you know, I'm very I agree with Sandro Colombo, an epidemiologist, a colleague of us, that he wrote in an editorial on the journal Epidemiology and Prevention of the Association of Italian Epidemiologists, and saying that he made a overview of all those studies. I highly recommend it to read to all colleagues connected. And he just concluded that regardless of the true number of deaths, the suffering of Gazans has been immense and is not yet over. I think this is the bottom line of it. And these are other data from the United Nations Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on children's health and mental health, which is really an important issue, even thinking about the future. If you are thinking about a boy or a girl born in 2007, like my youngest son, at this age, he has now in Gaza, you are 6 wars old. So in Gaza, there, you know, we are talking about post-traumatic stress syndrome, but in Gaza, there, in reality, there is really not a post because the trauma is repetitive and ongoing and continuous. Very shocking also the high number of deaths among the aid workers killed, UN staff, staff of the Palestinian Red Cross, and more than 1,400 health workers, our colleagues, killed. Some are also included on the other data above, and the many journalists and media workers killed. So this impact of the health workers has been also highlighted by a recent editorial on the Lancet. It just came out this week, and just stressing the impact of the health workforce, and the attacks on healthcare facilities and workers have been relentless. Specialized care is almost non-existent, and the European Gaza Hospital, the only facility able to conduct cancer-related surgery, is no longer functioning. Gaza's health system has been systematically dismantled, making it impossible to sustain Palestinian life in Gaza. So further, the editorialists of the Lancet highlight that the Israeli government has also targeted civilian infrastructure required for the survival of Palestinians, just as we mentioned before, of the biosphere of war, with 89% of the water and sanitation systems and 92% of the housing destroyed or damaged, with no-go military zones now covering 70% of Gaza, and the displacement of 90% of the population to overcrowded living spaces with little access to clean water and sanitation. And so the infection diseases are rife, and cases of acute watery diarrhea increased 36-fold, while acute jaundice syndrome, which is indicative of the hepatitis A, increased 384-fold. And Palestinians are being forced to live in these inhumane conditions where disease proliferate. In average, 35 children are killed in Gaza, amounting to a total of at least 18,000 children killed, which is, somehow a different estimate than we saw on the United Nations estimate, and this highlights the different kind of data, but it remains what Sandro Colomba says remains valid in my point of view. Pre-teen children are being admitted with gunshot wounds, and in Gaza there is the largest cohort of child amputees in modern history, according to the Lancet. And here I added a statement just about after 4 months from the beginning of the war, from the child from the UN Committee of the Rights of the Child, the chair, Anne Skelton, has declared that in Gaza, according to the data from Save the Children, more than 10 children a day on average have lost one or both of their legs. And on top of this, now Gaza is on the brink of famine. And these are the data from the Integrated Food Security Phase classification. As you can see, it's estimated that about 1.994 million people across the Gaza Strip are experiencing high levels of acute food security. So we are in phase 3 or above, and including nearly 244,000 people facing catastrophic food industry already in phase 5 of acute famine. And these includes also 70,000 children. 20% of cases are severe acute malnutrition. These are the different phases, and as you can see, we are between mostly between phase 4, the emergency, and phase 5, the catastrophe famine. And a famine is measured and defined by 20% of households facing an extreme food shortage and 30% of children acutely malnourished. 2 or 4 deaths for every 10,000 each day due to outright starvation or to the interaction of malnutrition and disease. Those situations have been in the past in Somalia and Sudan, mostly South Sudan and Sudan, also last year. But the experts highlight that if there's a probability of an area going into famine, this is mandatory to act, and to act on the key drivers of acute food security, which are the hostilities, so ceasefire, the food system collapse, and you also, Serena, highlighted what's going on in Gaza on this point of view, and the restricted humanitarian access. Also, there are some other contributing factors for acute malnutrition. All of them are present in Gaza. Of course, all this is against international law. There are the protocols of Bern from 77, additional to the Geneva Conventions, that prohibits the belligerents to restrict the access of food or agriculture or water to the population. So these are all war criminals. And now the important thing is to crush this vicious circle, and to put on the center of our thinking and of our actions the humanitarian international law and the right, the universal right for health. And this concerns in general war as it does terrorism. These are two two phenomena that are very different from meaning, the motivation, the protagonists, but both of them are forms of violence that is performed or that is for political reasons, that have the civilians as mostly suffering by them, and that are provoking reactions of fear, collective fear. So from our point of view, from the point of view of the health consequences, from the point of view of the victims, it's really hard, I'd say impossible, to separate the acts of war than from acts of terrorism. And this is the posture we as health professionals have to assume, always the point of view of the victims, as is the point of view also from who defends the international law. For example, the International Criminal Court that issued the mandates, arrest warrants for the only commander-in-chief that was believed to be living still from the Hamas movement, and also to the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the former Israeli Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant. And from the motivation is mostly on the war crime of using starvation as a method of warfare, but also of the war crime of intentionally directing attacks against civilians as a superior. So this is the International Criminal Court. There is another court, that's the International Criminal Court, addresses issues of persons and that can be arrested. The International Court of Justice deals with a government. And as you know, 1 year ago, the International Court of Justice received the application from South Africa to applicate the Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip. But the International Court of Justice does not limit its activities on just evaluating, but it's also on the prevention of genocide. So it issues orders to in order, they say, we have the reasonable doubt that this could be a genocide. This more than 1 year ago, and but to make this doubt not become certainty, we issue orders. And what are these orders? What were these orders about? Israel shall take all necessary and effective measures to ensure, without delay, in full cooperation with the United Nations, the unhindered provision at scale by all concerned of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance, including food, water, electricity, fuel, shelter, clothing, hygiene, and sanitation requirements, as well as medical supplies and medical care to Palestinians throughout Gaza, including by increasing the capacity and number of land crossing points and maintaining them open for as long as necessary, and B, ensure with immediate effect that its military does not commit acts which constitute a violation of any of the rights of Palestinians in Gaza as a protected group under the Genocide Convention, including by preventing through any action the delivery of urgently needed humanitarian assistance. This order was reiterated 2 months later, just 1 year ago, 24th of May 2025. They added the measures to ensure unimpeded access to the Gaza Strip of any commission of inquiry, fact-finding mission, or other investigative body, the halting military offensive, and confirms the need for the immediate and effective implementation of the measures indicated in its previous orders. Now, this was 1 year ago. I will leave it to the audience to judge if what this means on the issue of passing from the doubt that this could be a genocide to the certainty, because we all know that none of those orders have been performed by, accepted, or by Israel. So in any case, it remains very important to and valid the words of the chief of the International Criminal Court, that what are we have to do now is to demonstrate that all lives on this planet has the same value, that we are not judging by anything else but the human intimate nature. And this is what we are doing, and that we are doing for ourselves, for our humanity, and for our civilization, because it is certainly true what Aimé Césaire said in his discourse on colonialism in 1955, a civilization that plays fast and loose with its principles is a dying civilization. So these crimes are committed not only by Israel. The violations of the Geneva Convention are part of a of the normal war strategy of modern states, and all this with the destruction of the infrastructures of civilian infrastructures. We saw it also in the first Gulf War, in the war for NATO against Yugoslavia, the wars of the another coalition of the willing in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Israel in former operations in Lebanon and in Gaza, Russia in Chechnya, in Syria, and in Ukraine. And we see it now in Ukraine, in Gaza, in other places. Every day we see it, and every day is the title of a poem by the German poet Ingeborg Bachmann, which I think is so describing so well the situation we are in now. And it says, war is no longer declared, only continued. The monstrous has become every day. The hero stays away from the battle. The weak have gone to the front. The uniform of the day is patience. Its medal, the pitiful star of hope above the heart. It is awarded for desertion of the flag, for bravery in the face of friends, for the betrayal of unworthy secrets, and the disregard of every command. So, where to find the pitiful star of hope in this awful situations? Well, I discovered reading the Israeli Palestinian magazine Plus 974. There are protests ongoing in Palestine that are against the occupation and the Israeli genocidal violence, but are together with this are calling for a change in the government and in the Hamas rules, and for free elections. And so highlighting anyway that the most important thing is to end the occupation and apartheid system, which is going on for so many years. And if you are freed, this is a citation, freed from the shackles of the occupier and from its repeated wars, we and our children would live in safety and peace. And this is many, there are Israelis that are fighting together with Palestinians just to this objective. And one example of this is highlighted by this documentary, which is really very, very powerful, and received an Oscar, received a prize in Berlin last year. It's called No Other Land, and I think it's in these conversations that Basil and Yuval have together where lies this hope and this pitiful star of hope. So to conclude, and we have the characteristics of the armed conflict, that armed conflicts that are conducted by modern warfare. That is the no limits of space, of time, and of law, no discrimination between military and civilian objectives, the effects on a long-term basis that are so important in suffering and causing suffering of the civilian population, the increase in social inequalities, the destruction of environment, and thus it's always possible an escalation of into a nuclear war, since we are speaking about powers that have those horrible weapons. And those characteristics are such that the damage done by wars are always much more higher than every objective that is declared to achieve by those conflicts or by those wars. So there can't be ever no humanitarian or emancipatory goal that can take advantage of this kind of tool, if you can speak of tools in this realm. And now, if you are examining the scientific evidence, the empirical data, this has the effect even on those that have not a that are not on a principle of refusing violence, like pacifists have, even if you are not starting off with these convictions, but the examination of the scientific evidence is pushing you unavoidably into a posture of pacifism, because it's not that in the wartime, where it's not only that in war are committed crimes, as they always it's always the case, but war itself is the crime. So the only posture that we can that is possible for us, and especially for us as humanitarian or health workers, is the opposition of war, the prevention of war by peaceful means, not by military deterrence that has been tried for hundreds of years and has never worked. At the contrary. So it's very important to stress this peace promotion by peaceful means as well. So, and as always, we can distinguish 3 levels of prevention, and I will start by the the treatment of the consequences of war, of the victims. But this means for us also to welcome the refugees. That has to be done to everybody, always and everywhere. And the secondary prevention, so the prevent and to reduce at the minimum the consequences of war on the impact on health and the environment in a war that is ongoing. And here is all the issue of the international laws that have to be respected, and of course, most important, primary prevention, to prevent a war from starting and to end a war as soon as possible when it is already started. And this implies also the prevention of a escalation of war in a more broader conflict, like also a world war, or the prevention of an escalation into a nuclear war. And we have to do this. We have to strengthen the infrastructures of peace and the human rights, infrastructures of health and education that are so underfinanced, while we put our billions of dollars into weapon systems, and to increase the knowledge of the population and also the health professionals on the effects of war. And of course, we have to act on the determinants of war, poor, poverty, the inequalities, racism, nationalism, imperialism, the militarism, and as you notice, all those aspects, elements are very strongly correlated to the capitalistic economic system. And this is something that already was highlighted by Martin Luther King 58 years ago. And his words are unfortunately confirmed the validity of his word, and with which I want to conclude this presentation. Martin Luther King gave this speech, "A time to break silence," which is a slogan that is very appropriate nowadays, but in '67 it was to the Vietnam War. And Martin Luther King, at the end of his speech, said, we have to, if we don't want in the future, time and again, to create committees against war and so on and so forth, we as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. We must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. So that's all from my side, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Pirous. First of all, for translating in English directly without any preparation of the presentation. You were great. But thank you so much for this inspiring presentation, so documented, well documented. I really think we have been all inspired by this webinar. I really think it represents a sort of added value to what we definitely already have in terms of consciousness of this genocide which is going on in Gaza. But for me it was very important to listen to Serena's words, to know that Raya is here, to support them with all our love and presence. I imagine that both of them are reading all the other messages that are arriving, but we will send them the recording of this webinar, which I think will work, and we will put it also on our website and maybe also on the website of the Association of Italian Epidemiology, so that other people might have the opportunity to learn what we learned today. We can also, if you agree, share your presentation, Pirous.
Of course, yes.
Thank you so much. And I will definitely let you have the list of organizations that Serena is going to write me by WhatsApp, so that any one of us that can do something, whatever we can do, we have to move and to do it in terms of information, in terms of support, in terms of any kind of action we can imagine, lonely or in association, better, I think. We have to avoid indifference, which is a sickness of our times, I think. It's a huge problem because wars are so frequent everywhere, and I can understand that sometimes we feel like we have to move away from it, but we can't. We have to be there to think of Palestinians every day, every morning when we wake up, and to try to do our best every day in order to support them, to stop this war, this genocide. So I'm not going to read all the new message, I think, because I imagine that Raya and Serena did it already. I would like to thank all of you because I really feel that the atmosphere of this webinar is special, because we have all sensitive people staying here together today. We were 150, we are still 128, so I really think it has been a great occasion for all of us, and I thank again all of you, and especially Pirous, and especially Serena and Raya, and all the friends in Palestine. Do you have any question for Pirous, or again for Serena? Shall I read the messages, the new messages? What do you think? Yes? Okay. There are no words adequate to comment on everything that is happening. Thank you, Serena, for your testimony, your courage, and everything you do. We are all with you. I will think of you every day, hoping that you are safe and well. Elena Farina. Asta Federica, thank you so much, Serena, for your strength and courage. Hearing your testimony from Gaza truly broke my heart. We will support the organizations and do everything we can to raise awareness by telling the truth. We hope that this horrific genocide can end as soon as possible. Please know that we stand with you. Resist. Roberta D'Angelo, how do you feel about Moshe Feiglin's statement that each child in Gaza is an enemy, versus Golan's one saying that Israel is committing a real genocide? What's your feeling about these two opposite statements of two Israelis? Thank you so much, Serena, for your testimony, surmounted by your wonderful smile, is a precious gift to all of us that we will treasure. Valeria Belleudi, Serena, your strength in the face of unimaginable hardship and the grace you carry through it all are deeply inspiring. Thank you for sharing your courage and testimony with us. Paola Daloia, the most frustrating thing is witnessing what is happening, knowing that there is no justice, and feeling powerless to do anything to save you from such injustice. Treaties, documents, and declarations mean very little. They merely confirm that many of us stand with you, while only a few are able to act with impunity against every human and civil principle. With all my love and admiration. Angelo Angiolini, he asked in synthesis which is the best estimate of the indirect victims of the conflict in Gaza. Ursula Kirchmeier, thanks to the organizer and to all speakers for this very important and inspiring webinar. Unfortunately, I have to step off now. Rauya Haman, Dr. Pirous, thank you for your powerful and inspiring presentation. Your words resonated deeply, and we are truly grateful for your solidarity and unwavering commitment to justice. Shukran, dear Serena, for organizing this meaningful event. Your efforts are deeply appreciated. I regret that I must leave now, but I look forward to the day we meet again in a free and peaceful Palestine. With gratitude and hope, Raya. Ursula Hauser, love Ravia, take care. We are in contact and never lose hope to meet again. Alessandra Pratesi. How can we have also the list of the organization? I will share them with all the participants, don't worry. And Ursula Hauser, thank you, grazie mille, dear collega, compañero Pirous. The fight against impunity and for justice and peace goes on. So I really think this is the best way to close our meeting. These messages are really touching, and I thank all of you for participating. All the best. Serena, I'll write you as well as to your mother. Take care and keep in contact.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for everyone. And thanks for all the love. Sending you all the love and hugs from Gaza.
I will send you also the recording and all the messages so you can keep them, okay? Thank you so much, Serena.
Thank you.
It was beautiful to see you.
You too. Inshallah, one day we'll meet in person soon.
Bye.
Thank you, Serena.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank
Love
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
my
you.
dear.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Serena.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. Thank you.